Olá pessoal, Marcos Tadeu aqui na área para mais um Rock Cabeça. Hoje metade internacional, metade nacional, porque eu estou trazendo aqui uma cantora muito legal, Julie Neff. É Julie Neff?
É
Neff?
Julie Neff. Sim.
Julie Neff, vocês já perceberam aí
Uhum.
que ela sabe português também. Ela vem lá do Canadá, lá de Toronto, e está lançando um single muito poderoso aqui, cheio de influências brasileiras. Vamos receber então a Julie. Julie, welcome to Rock Cabeça.
Obrigada. Thank you.
So let's talk about your single, Fine. Chris Bottarelli brought more anger to your sound, in my opinion. She brought a lot of
Yeah.
anger. Are you a Far From Alaska fan? When did you decide to work with Chris and all the Brazilians?
Yeah. Um, I think there's a couple of questions in there, but I'll start with how I met
Okay.
Chris. So originally, the first time I went to Brazil, I was able to play at Festival Coma in Brasilia. Brasilia. And yeah, we met far from Alaska, and I had a project at the time that was filming artists. So we filmed them there. They were so incredible. We did an acoustic session with them, and they just blew our minds. And then they were generous enough to play with me when I went back to do a tour. So they backed me up at my gig in São Paulo.
Mhm.
And then when I was spending more time there, we got to know each other more. And I'm a super fan of them. I think they're incredible. They're so, so talented and so like just amazing people as well. So yeah, Chris was starting to produce and we started working together on some demos and she just brings so much talent to the table and I wanted to work with her. So yeah, that's how we decided to work together. And yeah, I think she helped me express maybe some anger that I was bringing to the table in the production. And she's got obviously like tons of rock experience and not to mention all of the Brazilian musicality that goes along with growing up in Natal and, playing with tons of different people. So she helped me really bring everything I wanted to express to full expression on this single.
So, since you talk about, tell us your relation with Brazil. Have you been living here? Why can you speak Portuguese so well like you did? Tell us about your background here in Brazil.
Yeah, I first connected with some Brazilian bands actually when I was living in Toronto and through a festival there called Indie Week. They were bringing Brazilian bands, and I met Scaleni and I met Banda Trampa também from Brasilia. And I don't know, I was just so impressed with all of the musicianship, I thought it was incredible. And we got this opportunity to go and play in Brazil. And I'm sure you already know this, and all Brazilians know this, but they're really one of the most receptive and warm and lovely audiences. So just being able to experience that in a very small way, like was already so encouraging for me in my career. And I thought that that would be a good place to explore more, to play more, to get that kind of like energy and like um, momentum, I guess, with my career. So I decided to go back and do a tour. And then I went back a few more times and stayed for a little bit longer, and was learning Portuguese throughout and was able to work on some projects there. So I don't know, I just loved it. I love the culture. I used to live in Spain. I spoke Spanish fluently already and then decided to like totally mess my head up to try to learn Portuguese because it's similar but very different. And so yeah, I really fell in love with the culture and the people and the food and like
Mm.
just really enjoyed spending time there. So that's kind of how I got started with Brazil. And then on the creative side, like there's just the music. I know people know this, but I don't know if they appreciate it not having the experience of the other side where like coming from Canada, there's lots of music, but it's just different. Like there's not the variety of rhythms and
Mm.
sounds and I feel like people grow up in Brazil with this exposure to just so many different types of music and so much musicality that the talent is just immense, and it's really inspiring for me, and it's challenging for me to be like, okay,
Mhm.
like I've got to get better because this
Mhm.
is like I want to be able to like come close to a little bit of this. So it's always been really inspiring for me. And then creatively too, I've just had some really nice connections in Brazil and working with different people. So yeah, so that's really where that started.
It's curious just you to say about Canadian music because I'm a fan of a lot of Canadian artists. I don't know if it's because I like rock, but right now there is so many women doing rock and pop, like the Beaches, Tate McRae, and there
Yes, they're
was Neil
amazing.
Young, Brian Adams. Even love Brian Adams.
Yeah.
Can you explain what's happening down there? That's so many girls doing rock and roll for the first time ever, or it always have been like this?
hmm Yeah, I mean, I don't know overall, like for other people, what's happening, but I think there have been some really incredible, informative female musicians who are doing incredible music over the years, and like Sarah McLachlan more on like the pop side, but she started like Lilith Fair, which is a massive festival that travels with all female headliners, and there's a ton of that influence. I think nowadays, maybe with everyone, I think we're all feeling like we can access so much more of the industry that maybe in the past we haven't. And I like seeing that there's a tendency for women to be showing their anger and showing all of the spectrum of emotions that we feel, and showing that musically too. I think is really important. So yeah, I don't know specifically what's happening for them. The Beaches are amazing. I really love their music. I just think that we're stepping into our own, hopefully, and just people are doing what they want to do, which is great.
Uh, uh, Besides music, you are working with some Brazilians like Marina Moli. She's very humble. She doesn't tell she was working with the visuals and all the stuff. I have to discover by the release. Marina Moli helped
Yeah.
you. Bruna helped you to create the visuals
hmm
of the
Yeah.
broken tear, the tear on your face.
Yeah.
Tell us about this contribution from our friends here on your
Yeah.
visuals.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of photo shoots actually in the past, and video shoots with Brazilian photographers and videographers, directors. And I've had a really lovely time. And so I decided to continue that trajectory. And last year I was visiting Brazil, and so I took the opportunity to work with them again. Um, and I have been collecting references like probably for 2 or 3 years now of things that I find inspiring and feel like are related to this album. So throughout the recording process, I've been gathering like mood boards and all of those. Usually I draw a lot from like fashion and different there's a lot of experimental like editorial fashion and makeup and things that I think are really cool. Yeah, and so I reached out to Marina to help me with the art direction of everything, and she really helped kind of like bring things together in a way that was really beautiful and brought some references that I wouldn't have thought of. And so we decided to pull this shoot together a little bit last minute because I was visiting Brazil, but it worked out so, so well. And the makeup artist, Desiree, did a fantastic job as well. And Bruna, I've worked with before, and she's just super ultra talented and ultra professional as well. Yeah, and I think it's hard to explain. There's a lot of really great talent in Canada too. I don't want to say that that doesn't exist. But as you know, it's challenging when you're up and coming as an artist, and there's a lot to handle, there's a lot to do. And so a lot of times I just like to follow the flow. Like if there's a good creative flow with a group, I will keep working with that group because there's already so many things that are challenging that when it's nice to work with people, you just want to keep working with those people. So that's kind of how that came together, and it was really a beautiful experience. And I mean, you see it in the visuals, like it really came together. So I'm very happy with that.
Yes, I was listening to your discography on Spotify yesterday, and it's amazing. Like all the covers are so different from each other. There's
Yeah.
always some different Julie every time we hear some single.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I didn't know which Julie I was going to see here.
Yeah.
There's a fashion Julie I'm seeing. Uh, tell us about why took you so long, so three EPs, three wonderful EPs. What took you so long to release your first album? Because you seem like you have been releasing mini albums all along your career. What took you so long
Yeah.
to be the first album ever, 26?
Um, that's a great question. I mean, I think the pandemic had a lot to do with it. I think COVID kind of
Yeah.
threw me for a loop. And what I talk about a lot on the album too is ongoing health issues, and I think COVID really made that a lot worse for me. So it's exhausting, when you're dealing with big things in life to like also then keep going on the art and want to be present and want to be in front of people. Like that's not always the case when you're not feeling well. So I think that was part of it. And then I was very, very fortunate to get a grant from the Canadian government to make the album.
Mhm.
So that was a big motivation because I was like, okay, like now there's there's money to do
Mhm.
this. And and I just took my time, and I think we always have an idea of like, okay, let's get it done, like let's go. And then there was these things that came to delay things, and it all really worked out the way that it should have. And I'm really glad that I took my time. I'm glad that I took my time after we recorded to like assimilate everything, to start making the visuals. So yeah, I think part of it was just time to create the songs. Part of it was time to be well enough to like
Mhm.
be out there and be sharing. Um, yeah, I think that's really the big reason. And COVID is still like to me so crazy. Like I was living in Brazil when it
Mhm.
hit and I had to flee the country and come back, and then
Mhm.
it was just like a few years of a lot of challenges. And so I'm glad now that we were able to make this piece of work and launch it, and I feel ready for it now.
Yes, your discography balance between pop and rock all the time, pop, rock all the time. This first album is going to be more rock and roll because of Far From Alaska influence, or both of them
It's so mixed, to be honest.
mixed.
There are ballads on the album. There's some blues influence on the album. There's songs that have a little bit of Americana or Canadiana, if you want
Mm,
to say.
mm,
Um, it's a really sonically diverse piece of work. So I'm excited for you to hear it. I think you'll understand maybe once you hear it, but it's got some rock for sure, but there's some strings, like orchestral elements, there's
mm,
piano, like there's a lot of different things coming in there. So I think it leans more, I don't know which way it leans. I can't answer you
mm,
that. I think it's a blend. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, this is 100% rock and you're going to feel from Alaska and all of it. I really don't think so. I think that Fine, the first single, has elements of all of the songs that are to come. But there are some that are a lot more delicate, a lot more acoustic. We had a Brazilian percussionist, Lara
mm,
Klaus, played
mm.
on the album as well, and so there's so
Cool.
many beautiful textural elements from her. Yeah, I think you'll have to find out for yourself.
Yes, I was amazed by Fine because I don't know if because I'm a fan of Oasis, but it remind me a lot of Oasis. This
Oh
trend,
yeah?
this bold music, né, for
Yeah.
stadium music, and I can't stop listening to Fine.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
I wonder,
That's
are you a
awesome.
Oasis fan as well, or someone in the production? Oasis, have you been
I
to a new gig?
No, I mean, I really only recently have started listening to them again, like I don't know, the past month or two, just because they've been touring. And so I've been seeing some stuff. But I feel like Oasis, unfortunately, is only known for like the one song,
Hmm.
Wonderwall, which is like what everyone plays you when they think they play guitar. They're like, this is the song.
Hmm.
So it kind of has a bad reputation, but it's, they're incredibly talented. So I was listening a little bit more, but I'm not sure. It's possible that there's some influences there from some of the other members, but not for me.
No. Okay, so let's talk about Brazilian music. Which ones are your favorites here? Your most favorite artist that you want to work with if you could.
Okay, that I want to work with.
Yeah.
I feel like kind of privileged because I got to know some Brazilian artists in the indie scene that maybe someone who just thinks of Brazilian music, that's not what they think of. I think everyone thinks of bossa nova and like all
Hmm.
of samba and all of those type of musics. And I got in on like the rock scene, the indie scene, like MPB as well. So there's so many talented artists. It's kind of mind-blowing. It's hard to pick. But some artists that I've met and talked to over the years and been friends with, I mean, JP is amazing. He's so incredible. It'd be really cool to do something with him. Tuyo as well is like a
Hmm.
huge inspiration. I love their voices. I love their harmonies.
Hmm.
There's Elefante, which is a band from Brasilia that we've
Hmm.
done some collaborating in the past, and I really love vocally like how we sound together. It'd be really nice to
Hmm.
do something again. Um, Goodness gracious, there's so many. It's really hard to pick. But yeah, I've recently been getting a little bit more into like Alcione, like getting into like some of the more traditional, like I love forró. I used to go to forró shows when I was living in São Paulo, and they have them here. I'm living in Montreal now, and
Hmm.
they have a forró band that does shows every once in a while. There's more samba as well, but there's like Scaleni's incredible as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many, right? It's so hard
Yes.
to choose.
You're restricted to independent artists, as you call yourself an independent artist. If I'm
Hmm.
wrong, I don't know. But you're aware that you make commercial music hits. You do hits like
Yeah.
all the bigger artists, mainstream artists. Are you aware of that?
Um, I think so. I mean, it's nice that you're saying that. That's super nice. I think I like hits. I mean, who doesn't like hits? I think they're awesome. I feel, that what I write is obviously coming from me. It's something that I'm creating and it's what I need to express or that I want to express. Um, but I really do like pop music. I like a lot of alternative pop music, like Kimbra, and like a bunch of artists that are kind of doing interesting things, like Amber Mark. And I don't know, there's a lot of pop artists that are not what we think of when we think of pop. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's cool. And yeah, if it wants to blow up as a hit, I would be very happy. Um, and I think there's such a wide spectrum of what we can create with music, you know? You can create the songs that you want to sing to at the club. You can create the songs that you want to cry to in the shower. Like there's
Mhm.
there's the whole spectrum. Yeah, so I do think I tend to write in a way that people can sing along to. And that comes from how I grew up with music, and I grew up in church with music, which is very repetitive. Like people they repeat contemporary Christian music, it repeats a lot so that people can sing along easily. And I do think there's an influence of that in my music. So if that turns into a hit, then that's okay with
Yes.
me.
Oh, let's talk about the interview is going to end, but I want to talk about Fine because there's a chorus that I can let go. Fine is my favorite single at the moment. And
Oh,
at the same
thank you.
time talks about depression, anxiety. I would like to explain the real motive behind the
Yeah.
song, Fine song.
Yeah. For sure. So, I mean, for over a decade now, like I guess maybe 12, 13 years, I've dealt with the chronic illness called endometriosis.
Mm,
And so it's a full body disease. It's forever. It's not
yes.
curable. And so there's a lot of pain associated with that, and it goes, up and down all the time. And so yeah, I think in combination with that, there's been depression, there's been anxiety, around that also. And as everyone has to, like we have to show up, we have to go to work, we have to like, appear in the world. And I think this song though is kind of expressing like sometimes from the outside, if you don't tell anyone what's going on, you seem fine. You seem good. You
Mm,
seem like, like I would go to work and people would be giving me more projects or more things to do because they think I have it all together and they think I'm doing great. And I'm like inside, like suffering because I'm in pain and I'm just trying to hide it. I'm trying to mask it. And obviously it's not appropriate to share all the time everything that you're feeling inside
mm,
externally. But I think what I've been trying to learn over the past few years is how to share with people who are close to me, to ask for help, to admit when it's too much, and to try to like, you know, take care of myself better, and be taken care of. And so this song is that expression of, you know, sometimes we get people, we express that something's wrong, and then they're like, but you're doing
mm,
great, and you posted that beautiful photo, and you went on a trip. You must be so happy. And I was like, I'm
mm,
not like I'm not okay. And it is not the same thing. It's I think we all know that Instagram isn't real or that, things that we post on there are always going to be the more positive side. But I think it's this expressing that frustration and that anger of being like, I'm not okay and I'm tired. I'm exhausted from pretending that I'm okay and
mm,
pretending that I'm fine. And I just kind of wanted to release that and be like, okay, like how do I be more um like truthful with myself of how I'm doing? So a lot of the album talks about that. This single talks about that. And I think it's important with people that we trust that are close to us to be able to talk about it as well. And to be able to find solutions because there's nothing more depressing and
mm.
exhausting than having to fake something and having to pretend that you're okay when you're not.
Yes, it's okay to be broken sometimes. All
Yeah,
the time. It's okay to be
yeah,
broken.
for
Uh,
sure.
so I have a challenge for you. I
Uh-oh.
said I wasn't going to do that, but I want you to announce fine for our Rock Cabeça listeners in
Okay.
Portuguese. In Portuguese.
Okay.
Go on, invite them all.
Okay, so what would I say?
What we say, you can create anything. You can.
Okay, I wouldn't that. Um, oi, no, oh my God, I get so nervous. Okay.
I'm
Um,
not looking.
okay. Oi, galera de Rock Cabeça. Eu sou Julie Neff. Eu lancei o meu novo single Fine agora e eu quero que vocês ouvirem e eu quero que vocês gostarem também. Eu espero que vocês gostarem. Eu estou muito grata de estar aqui e obrigada. É isso.
Better than myself. Much better.
I don't
I'm
know
gonna
about
hire
that.
you. You hired. You're hired.
I'm
Okay?
hired. Yes.
Yes. Congratulations. Julie Neff,
Thank
was
you,
a
Marco.
pleasure to spend this time with you. I wish you do a gig here in Belo Horizonte. I don't know if you have come here, Minas
Uh,
Gerais,
eu quero visitar,
to eat some feijão tropeiro,
né?
jiló,
Eu
fígado.
vou comer. Vou
Yeah.
estar comendo, vou visitar, mas eu não vou poder cantar porque eu vou estar comendo.
Isso, tem muita coisa para você comer aqui, com certeza. A gente se encontra aqui, eu vou cobrar a Marina pra gente tomar umas aqui, uma cachaçinha. Beleza?
Beleza.
Um abraço pra
Obrigada,
você,
Marcos.
tudo de bom aí com seu single, que tá maravilhoso, viu?
Obrigada, Marcos. Bom dia para você.
Obrigado, André. Até
Tchau.
mais.